Carlos Nelson with Cascade Sports. We're here at Lee Summit High School for the Lee Summit tournament, where Central High School just beat a good Lee Summit North High School, and we have the assistant coach of Central High School. Who do we have here?
Gil Hanlin.
Hey, coach, tell our audience a little bit about the game tonight.
Well, we guarded a little better than we have been. And I told the kids at halftime, as well as we're shooting the ball, if we guard a little bit, I think we can win this.
What's your record right now?
I believe we're 10-5.
How do you feel your team is gelling right now? About three-fourths of the season's over, ready to make a run for the IL championship also, and trying to go to state. Where you feel you at right now?
We've still got a way to go, and we know that. The kids are aware of that. We've had some illnesses, a couple suspensions, and I told Rob last weekend, if we can get back to normal, then we can get back to work.
Hey, Coach, I learned about you from another coach. You were at the game. I think Central was playing Lincoln or something, and the coach was telling me that you had a real storied past. Talk to our audience about your career.
Well, I actually, my first varsity coaching job was at Montrose, Missouri. I think it was 1967. I coached there for 9 years. I moved to Butler for a couple years. We were fortunate enough to make the Final Four my second year there. I came to Blue Springs in I can't remember the exact year, but when I got there, John Sunbolt had just graduated, and I had a young man as a junior named Steve Harris who went ahead to play in Tulsa and played in the NBA. Incidentally, for you sports fans, my lone senior that started for me was Don Bickham, who is an official now, and as a matter of fact, he followed me as coach. I moved to Blue Springs South when they built the new school because I lived on that side of town, and my son was going to be a sophomore. And so that's the reason I made the move, and then I retired from South. That's how I met Robin. Coach Lucas played for me. As a matter of fact,
that's what they told me.
He was a 4-year varsity player. He's a good little player, and he graduated in '99, and I retired in 2000.
You were coaching when the Hall of Fame coach at Raytown South.
Coach Lathrop.
Hey, Coach Bud Lathrop, Cascade's been doing this since 2010. And when I came in the game, Metro Sports was the major outlet. Couldn't get nobody to do nothing with me. Coach Bud Lathrop did my first interview. He said, Carlos, come over here and interview me. And then the coaches are going to start and hold it. It was like he was reading the tea leaves.
Well, I've got a lot of great Bud stories. Bud and I battled it out for a long, long time. As a matter of fact, the first time I played Bud, I came up and we had lost, Blue Springs had lost John Sunvolt. As a matter of fact, they'd lost 4 or 5 seniors off of a really good ball club. And I had 2 guys who'd ever played varsity basketball. Don Bickham and Steve Harris were the only 2 kids that ever played varsity. And Bud came to we were both in the same conference at that time. Bud came to our place about midway through the season, and I remember thinking, I hope he just doesn't beat me too awful bad. Hey, with 17 seconds left on the clock, the score was tied. They had the basketball. We're trapping. We trapped. The kid's name was Chris Fullard. I still remember. Chris caught the ball and dribbled out of bounds, giving us the ball back with 17 seconds left. I called time, and Steve Harris was a junior at that time. I go, Stevie, you're going to get to shoot one. And we ran about 3, it looked like a picket fence. We ran about 3 screens for him. He caught the ball at the elbow, shot it. It kind of bounced around. We had a packed house, everybody in the gymnasium, everybody on the floor, everybody on the bench except Steve was doing this. Stevie went and got it. He missed it. He went and got it, put it back in at the buzzer. And Bud, God rest his soul, jumped up and kicked a bucket, a 5-gallon bucket all the way across the gymnasium. So that was my first game against Bud.
You know, tell the audience a little bit from that period of time, what kind of ball players and what kind of fans do you have? Do you see a difference?
There's definitely a difference in the ball players. Kids start playing so much earlier. And there are more quality players now than there were back then. You know, back then, you could name the top 10 kids in the city. Most everybody knew who they were. Now there's so many good players that, I have no idea. I just know there's a lot of good players out there.
All right. Would you have any parting comments for our audience?
Well, high school basketball is great. Just come watch our game. I think if you come and watch a couple games, then you'll come back.
Yeah, I'm from New York, and I came to Kansas City in '78, and I was a much younger man then. And when I came, I wanted to go out to the club, right? But on Friday nights, people say, you go where you want to go. I'm going to the field house, or I'm going to the gyms were packed to the rafters. You come late, you don't get no seat, no parking, no nothing.
You are correct. See, every game we had with Bud, every game we had with Lee Summit was capacity. And I remember we had a wrestling room with the closed circuit TV, and that was like sardines. They were packed because everybody couldn't get in the gym.
I'm hoping that the sports here in Kansas City, especially the basketball, we come back to that level.
Well, I'll tell you what, there are a lot of quality players in the Kansas City area. There really are.
Yeah.
I really think from that standpoint, high school basketball is as good or better than it's ever been.
How do you feel about AAU?
Well, being old school, okay, for a long time I was kind of opposed to it. As a matter of fact, the first kid I had that played a lot of AAU ball was Steve Harris, the kid who went to Tulsa. And but here's what AAU's done. It's got kids playing all year round, and it's got good kids playing against good kids all over the country. And there's no substitute for playing.
It's not, but I'm more of the European style. Summertime, work on your skill set. Running all up and down the road, that's all right, but I would feel working on your skill set. And when I started my company, they had some big thing here, and they had the head of Adidas, and they had all the big people here, and they were talking about AAU and some of the coaches that, it was good to go to Vegas and all of that. And they said it's not like that now. You stand in the two-bed motels, and then you're leaving, and then you're going, and then you're here, and you're there.
I used to tease my kids about, how are you going to accept playing here when this summer, you went to Los Angeles and you went to Las Vegas, and we're going to Oak Park tonight, guys.
All right. Hey, Coach, it was a pleasure talking to you, and we wish your team the best.
Thank you very much.
This program is brought to you by the City of Fountains Coaches Association.